All right, back with Pyrion Flax for the fun question segment. Let's talk about your announcer pack, good sir.
Let's talk about fun things.
Now, you
Okay.
started this like a million years ago, because I remember you telling me, like, was it at TI2 that you were telling me, like before TI2
Um,
even?
it was 10 months ago now
Oh,
that I
God.
actually started working on it. So yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, when it came out, it had been 9 months. So
It's a
10 months.
baby. That's your baby then.
Literally. Like I've had two kids. This was way harder for me because I didn't have like for the babies, I had the fun job.
Yeah.
Like for this, it was the hard work. Like seriously, like carrying that fucking thing, nurturing it, my stomach growing larger day by day. It was like, yeah, it was. I mean, the announcer pack, like, it's done incredibly well. Like, I'm incredibly thankful for how well it's done because it's like I daydreamed and fantasized about how well it would do and how badly it would do. Like, my worst nightmare would be Valve saying, "Okay, yeah, it's out," and it's just, yeah, we're not gonna do this again.
We're not coming out with the Pyrion
This
Flax
was,
version
yeah,
2.
this was. We're not going to do any announcer packs from now on. This was the test bed, and
Uh-huh.
yeah. And so instead they were like, dude, it's done brilliantly. I was like, fucking yes. So I
Well,
was really,
with 9 months, I'm not too surprised that you think of all these like different scenarios that could
yeah,
happen.
no, I mean, like the first, I think I've spoken about it before, but basically I did a whole first draft. And this was after, like, I did the first few videos on YouTube, and then Valve got in touch and said, we want to do an announcer pack with your voice. I was like, seriously? And they were like, yeah. I was like, awesome. This is ridiculous. My friends were like, holy shit, dude, you're going to be in Dota 2. And then I foolishly told a couple of people, and then sort of people would say, hey, I hear you doing an announcer pack. I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm working on it. And then for the following like 9 months, people just saying, when's your announcer pack coming out? But what added to that was that I did like when they said, do you want to do it? I was like, yes. And I was so worried that they changed their mind that I ran out and hired a mic and recorded a bunch of lines and did it as
Yeah.
quick as I could. I was like, oh shit, I've got the mic for a week. Like I kicked Mrs. Flax out of the house for a weekend, all the get the kids out of here, record. And I just recorded like crazy. And the problem is that I didn't know how to use that mic and I didn't take my time and the audio levels were all wrong and the lines were no good and it didn't have any enthusiasm at all. And I'd only just started, like I'd only been doing the videos for like 2 or 3 months, so I hadn't really found my voice yet. So I was kind of like, it was a bit tentative. So the whole first batch that I recorded that I gave them, they said, "Okay, yeah, we've put it into a pack, and yeah, we're gonna test it out." I was like, "Cool," and they tested it out. And I spoke to some of friends of mine, like Zoid is a guy I talk to quite often, and people like Mark Laidlaw and a lot of the writers. I talk to the writers a lot because I put a lot of kind of jokes in there that I guess that they appreciate because they're kind of having a go at the heroes' backgrounds and stuff, which they've mainly written. So they were like, "Yeah, it's okay, pretty good. Yeah, well done." It's a lot of praise for doing that because obviously you're the guinea pig. And I was like, "Shit, I am the guinea pig." I was like, "Hold on a minute." I said, "You guys aren't like psyched about this at all. You're kind of like I don't know, just kind of polite." And I said, "Should I do it again?" And they said, "Valve never tells people what to do, but we encourage people to give it 110%."
That
So I was
means
like,
they
right,
hated it.
right. I said, "Okay, bin the whole first draft." I
Yeah.
said, "Take it, bin it, don't do anything with it. For God's sake, don't put it into a pack." Like, okay. So I went away and I bought a mic and I recorded a bunch of lines, did a whole bunch more, wrote a load more stuff, and I spent like 2 or 3 months really getting it down, uploading new lines. I was like, okay, guys, here's another 50 new lines. We had a Dropbox and I'd upload stuff to the Dropbox. And then I did like easily over 1,000 lines. And Valve came back to me and said, okay, there's no way we can use 1,000 lines. People will lose their brains about downloading this much. Like, there's no way we can do it. So I was
Mm.
like, okay. And then they said, and the other thing is we don't have triggers for half these lines. Like, there were triggers for heroes casting spells on other heroes. There were triggers for certain spells being cast, and they can't handle that. Like
Mm.
the program literally doesn't have a trigger for that. So because they're focusing, oddly enough, on the game itself and making the heroes work and stuff. So instead of having a trigger for things like Enigma catching, so I had a line for Ursa killing Lion or Lion killing Ursa, and like a lion just killed a bear, like that kind of thing. there's no trigger for that. The game doesn't recognize that as a trigger. So they would have had to code that in. And originally they were going to do that. And they were like, wait a minute, what the fuck are we doing? Why are we spending time coding shit for Pyrion Flax as an announcer pack when we could be working on new heroes and shit? So they said, okay, fuck that.
So you're the reason heroes have been delayed, essentially.
No, no. If they'd done that, then yes. But they said no, so I'm not. So they said, okay, you can have 500 lines, maybe 600, and 500 or 600 of the lines you've given us are completely unusable. So record some more. I was like, fine. So I ran away and recorded another 200 and uploaded them. And then they were like, nothing. I didn't hear anything for 2 months.
Oh, man.
And then all of a sudden they were like, we've got your announcer pack. Here it is. Are you ready? I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I haven't been, like, so then they gave me a copy on the Dota test, and I played it with a friend of mine, and we were just like laughing because it was just ridiculous to hear my voice in the game. And then I started telling everybody about it, like it's fucking coming out next week. And then it was in the patch, and Cyborg Matt's blog picked it up for his patch notes blog and everything. And it was just crazy. It was just crazy. I mean, if you look on the store, like when you log in and you look on the store page, it's still on the front page. Like that's how well it's done. It's been out for like 2 weeks. So
it's the best announcer pack, obviously.
My brain is absolutely blown. And like I listen to it and I think, shit, I really should improve that line. Or, oh man, that one's playing too much. So people always say to me, you're playing with your own announcer pack, you fucking idiot. You kidding me? I'm like, dude, like I have to get this right. Like I already said to the guys at Valve that worked on it, I was like, you've got to reduce the frequency on this line, or this one plays too often, or this one is playing too early. Like people might hear, like I think I said in the part one actually, your middle, sir, it's a phone call from your middle tower. It says it's under attack. You hear that all the time. Like I need to do like 10 more lines, I think, for the towers and stuff, each top, bottom, and mid. So yeah, I'm working on it. I'm going to update it, some new lines and stuff, because it's done so well. I mean, Jesus, I'm not going to like walk away from it. It needs some TLC, you know?
Yeah, TLC for the win, definitely.
You know,
I can't think of any other. I could be horribly wrong, but I can't think of any announcer pack that they've updated with like just things like that. Can you?
Yeah, maybe not. No, I don't think so. But I think that I know that when they told me they wanted me for an announcer pack, I immediately thought they were going to fly me out to Seattle and record in their swanky studios.
Yeah.
But they don't have swanky studios. They outsource that shit. So they hire dudes where they are for their swanky studios. And I think for Bastion, I mean, that was for the in-house ones. For Bastion, is it? Yeah, he recorded it. Rux is his name, isn't it? He recorded it in his cupboard under his stairs. And he ran the.
What is he, Harry Potter?
I know, like seriously, like, he literally soundproofed his understairs cupboard, ran the mic under the door, and just recorded in there. And he had like some of his friends doing the recording stuff. So yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
That is, I would assume that that's interesting that they do that. So where did you record?
Just in my living room. Like,
did they send you anything?
Like, no.
Really?
No. Yeah. I mean, like they said to me, you're going to be a guinea pig. Are you cool with that? I was like, yeah. Like they said, there is a guide on the Steam Workshop towards recording announcer packs, and it was just worthless because it's so out of date. Subsequently, they've updated it, and they said like I was going to do a video about how to make an announcer pack. I've just been like my brain's been fried the last few weeks, so I haven't got around to it. Like,
enjoy it. Enjoy this time, Pyrion.
Yeah, seriously. But I mean, I'm going to make a video about
how to become an e-celebrity.
How to
it just makes you sad every time, right?
Like seriously, you know how many friends said to me, Pyrion, like I like your stuff, but the NBA Jam announcer pack is where it's at. I'll never change. I was like, it's cool. I get it. So yeah, I mean, but I think it would be great for people to be able to make their own announcer packs because it's such an underdeveloped part of the game. If you look at the store, there's a million couriers, there's a million other items, but there's like 8 or 9 announcer packs, and a bunch of those are just the same heroes from inside Dota 2, other than the Nature's Prophet, Storm Spirit, Juggernaut, the Pirate announcer, the Mafia announcer, Bastion, and me. There's like, I guess maybe 1 or 2 more.
Mafia?
Yeah, there's a Mafia announcer, isn't there? Did that not get in?
No, that's in the workshop, I think.
Okay, well then, yeah, then there's even less. But yeah, it's so fucking hard to get an announcer in.
Yep.
I mean, the only reason mine got in is because people like my videos. Like, that's it. If I just released it on its own, no way. So yeah, a lot of the sales were love, and I
Mm,
appreciate that. So yeah, it's ridiculously tough, and I think if you're thinking of making one, you've got to come up with such a good angle because people need to want to hear that all the fucking time, and
that's true.
it's insanely hard, insanely hard. Yeah, I'm already sick to death of my announcer pack. So
Well, yeah, you've been beta testing it for months now,
dude,
probably.
seriously, yeah.
All right. So, what is your favorite hero and your most hated hero?
Most hated is PL. I still think he's a bullshit hero.
Hmm.
Even with the like 6.78 changed a lot, as everybody knows. And I played against Medusa today. Her ult is kind of bullshit.
Mm.
And yeah, again, we should have won, but the Medusa ult was just ridiculous. I really love like there's a handful of heroes I love. I love playing Darkseer. I love playing Sand King. Everyone knows I like Lich. I really think Lich is a great hero. I've really recently started enjoying playing Faceless Void. I don't think I could pick one dude. Like I know people have a favorite. I couldn't pick one hero and say he's my favorite because every time, like as a newer player, every time I play a newer kind of hero, like I haven't played Tide much. I genuinely haven't played Tide much. And I was playing the other day, and it was with Synderen actually, and he said, "You're a big Tide player, aren't you?" I was like, "No," because I thought you liked Tide, but I just played I played with Synd like twice ever, and both times I played Tide. He thought I was a big Tide player, but I've literally like he's practically on my least played list. Like
Mm.
I hardly ever played a guy, but I love playing as him. I don't know why I don't play him as him more. So yeah, like every time I think I've got a favorite, like I love playing as Enigma, love playing as Magnus.
You just like
Yeah,
those big AoE ults, then, huh?
yeah, I know. Everyone points that out. Like seriously, I love. I don't, it's hugely egotistical, but I just love the skill shot element of Dota 2. Like if you just go and farm for 40 minutes to win the game, it's kind of like the other team has to give you that space. If you get the farm, like getting last hits is nowhere near as exciting. Your team doesn't really see it,
Hmm.
and it's like, oh well, he's a faceless void. Of course, he's enormous and has ridiculous farm. It's like, well, that was hard. Like again, in that same game, in fact, where I played as Tide, Synderen had 200 CS at 20 minutes, and when the game finished at like 28, 29 minutes, he had dual rapier and a bunch of items. So I mean,
How does it
farming is
feel to play with a pro in a like horribly low matchmaking game?
it, but it wasn't horribly low. Like I was playing with Sin, so it
Uh,
drags us up.
that's
Like I
true.
played a
That's
game just now with Lumi, and we queued against Wagamama from QPad.
oh
Like
boy.
they fucking homed us so hard. It was horrible. But yeah, I mean my MMR now, like I having played over 1,000 games, I think I've got like 500 and something wins. So for some reason the MMR drags me up to a higher level,
Mm.
even though I really shouldn't be there because I mean it has to figure out me with 500 wins and a guy who's played Dota 1 for 6 years with 500 wins are not the same thing. So that's the problem is if you look at my wins and the games I've won compared to someone who's got a lot more experience, we've just been playing the game the same length of time. Like that's just a year of me playing Dota 2
Hmm.
3, 4 hours a day. And that's what that equates to. Like if I look at my Steam now, let me just take my Steam library. It tells you how long you've got in game. I think I've probably got fucking
I wonder if you can beat me. I haven't been playing much recently, but
1583
I
hours
beat you.
played. How much you got?
It's over 2,000.
Oh damn! Wow, that's a lot.
You got to catch up,
But
bro.
wait. But none of that is idle. Like I do not idle in
Oh,
client
me
at all.
neither. Absolutely not.
Yeah, shit.
Definitely not.
You play a lot. But I'm not up till 8 or 9 a.m. every day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I should have mentioned this at the beginning. Pyrion was nice enough to schedule this for 2 p.m., which means I had to get up extremely early because I've been waking up at 6:30 in the freaking evening because I'm a disgusting pig. So.
That is revolting. Even even when before I had kids, like and I played a lot of games before I had kids, like I played Eve Online a lot. I got up at 11 or 12 on a day when I didn't have work. So 6:30.
Bro, I have sleeping problems. Okay.
Yeah,
That's all I gotta say.
seriously. But do you know how many people I know who play Dota 2 obsessively that say, "Oh yeah, well my sleep schedule's all messed up." Yeah,
Yeah.
because you fucking go to sleep at 4 in the afternoon. That's
Well,
why
I was staying up to watch the qualifiers, so I have an
yeah.
excuse that my schedule is because of that. But
I'm not
even
going
if
to
it
be
wasn't,
judgmental. I'm not judgmental. I'm just telling you you got a problem that's your own making. It's all-
That sounds like it's judgmental to me.
Yeah,
Uh,
maybe. Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna implement this question. This probably should have been in the serious question segment, but what are your thoughts on the 6.78 patch? Anything like stand out to you?
I think it's awesome. I honestly think it's a master stroke.
We talked about Skeleton King briefly. You love that.
Yeah, we did. I mean, I did a video where luckily I had two people who know what they're doing, so I got Bruno and Cyborg Matt to help me, and we literally poured over the patch just an hour and a half. Lumi did a 3 hour vid.
I saw that.
Which
Yeah.
he's about which he broke into the three parts because I was talking to Bruno and Matt. And I was like, how long do we want it to be here? Like an hour tops, because otherwise it's just how boring
Yeah.
is this? We managed to drag it out to an hour and a half because there was just so much to talk about. But 3 hours, like I know there's a lot to talk about. I get that, but some of the shit you can just skim over. Some of you go, "Well, that's good. Okay, let's move on," because otherwise you could spend 10 minutes on every single change, which is what Lumi did, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's huge. It's absolutely huge. It's change the game. I think that like the reason I think it's a masterstroke is because TI3 just became even more interesting. Like the meta, I was sick to death of seeing the same heroes banned, same heroes picked. I think everybody was, and the pros have had a whole like what 6 months to settle into that kind of rhythm. It's the
Yeah.
same heroes, same heroes. This is great because if you don't get your strats in, you don't prepare, you're going to go into TI3. And do you know what? You can be good team, good strats, oh yeah, we farm really well. But you hadn't anticipated this lineup or you hadn't anticipated this strategy. So for me, it's awesome. I know the fact that the pros are complaining about it, I feel bad for them, but that to me means that they're out of their
I
comfort
think
zone.
it's yeah, I think it's
gonna
great. It just makes it more exciting
blame
for everybody. So
exactly because it's a spectator sport. Once you get to TI3, this is a spectator sport. This is not about their daily grind. This is about they have to deliver top draw games where there's a lot on the line. And I want to see teams outside the comfort zone having to think outside the box and all that kind of shit.
Right.
And I think 678 has delivered that in spades, or it
totally
should
agree.
do.
Yep, totally agree. Okay, into your personal life, Pyrion Flax. Miss
Ugh,
Flax, what does
yeah.
she think about your whole gaming? We'll call it
She didn't
career.
think a lot about it. She was like, okay. But then the answer back and she was like, okay.
So the
I get it.
inflection changed. Okay,
Yeah,
got
yeah.
it.
She was like, okay. Like, I make a little bit off YouTube, not a lot, very, very small amount really. And I've changed my partnerships like 5 times, I think, since I started.
Welcome to the
And
club.
I know, seriously. Like I've got a good one now with the Game Station, and I'm really happy with them. And like the first time I actually had a dude on email and a dude on Skype, and I like played Dota 2 with a guy. I'm like, shit. Like none of the other dudes I talked to were anywhere near this level of sort of relationship that we built up. So yeah, it's been really good, and I've met other guys that are with TGS and stuff. So I'm very happy with them. And Mrs. Flax, as a result, like if you can imagine that I'm sure you don't have a wife and kids and stuff, but if you can imagine a full year of having to dedicate yourself to Dota 2 and saying I can't all right, I know you wanted to go and do stuff today, but I have to cast a game with LD. Really? I was like, yeah, there's like it's a big game, like I really want to cast this. Fine. Or I'm recording stuff. Can you please leave the house for an hour? Fine.
Get the hell out of that house.
Seriously, seriously, that's what it takes. So she was like, okay. I mean, she's been incredibly understanding. And then all of a sudden, like I said, I promise it'll be worth it. I promise it'll be worth it. This, I'm building towards something, and this is all about me sort of getting into Dota 2, and I love this game. And there's so much stuff, so much material here for me to make videos about. It's like fine. And then obviously with like the announcer pack and stuff, she sees it and she sees my YouTube channel has grown a lot compared to what it was a year ago. So yeah, I think she gets it. Yeah,
Awesome.
she does now.
You're a lucky guy then. A lucky guy.
Seriously, like she's been incredibly helpful and supportive. Just looking after the kids is like just saying, "Hey, can you give me 2 hours?" Yep, no problem. She'll take the kids out. It's like, yeah, she's
Awesome.
amazing.
All right, and we talked about this before we started recording, and now I'm a little bit sad. Not to spoil things. Are you going to be at TI3, good sir?
I don't know. I'm still very hopeful. I'm talking to people at Valve about it. They have a production staff that they are crewing at the moment. If they don't ask me out there to work, as it were, to do interviews or whatever they want me to do, I won't be there because it's so insanely expensive to get there from the UK. It's like over £1,000 just for flights. Plus hotels would be well over, but the hotels would be even more.
Yeah.
Cost of living while I'm out there, so forget it. It's a ridiculous amount of money. It would cost me like it'd be like $4,000, I think, for the
It's
whole.
worth it just to meet me, bro. Okay.
I know. Can you fly me out on Dota Cinema's dollar?
God,
Yeah,
I wish. I wish. So you're talking about YouTube, how terrible the pay is in general. It's
yeah.
uh, just
I know people
just
seem to
Dota
think
2
like
in general.
you've got a load of views and stuff, but yeah, that there is very little money in YouTube.
They don't.
Genuinely.
Well, it depends. Like they don't know where the views come from. Dota 2 has like the worst like demographics from any game, pretty much. But anyway, that's a
Really?
whole other point. Oh, it's
Anyway,
like
okay.
last question for the fun second. Fun.
Okay.
All right, last question. When is the weekly podcast coming out? You, Bruno, and I believe it was Cyborg Matt.
That's funny because I had a lot of people saying, "Dude, you should do that. You guys should do that like regularly."
Yeah, absolutely.
And I know actually I spoke to you about this maybe 4 or 5 months ago, and you said you guys should do a Dota talk show. And um, I mean the thing is, like we agreed at the time, like none of us are the want to churn out stuff, and we're kind of like we've all got our own thing. So the intention was if we had decent topics and 678 was a decent topic, we'd do a show because otherwise it's just us sitting around and talking. And this is not intended to offend any other shows and stuff, but I find the shows that are like an hour and a half, 2 hours long of people talking about Dota, if they don't have solid topics, I lose interest personally, and want to go play Dota myself or do something else. If you've got a ton of time on your hands to watch stuff or listen on MP3 or whatever, then I'm sure those shows are great. But from my perspective, I'd rather have really solid topics that are 100% interesting, and I'll focus on those. So we'll do one maybe pre-TI3, post-TI3. Who knows?
All right. Well, hopefully something comes out. I mean, I think I kind of disagree, to be honest. I would just listen to it
Okay.
regardless, but like whether the topic's good or not.
Yeah, but we need something to talk about. Otherwise, we're going to talk about me, Bruno, and Matt. I mean,
Hey,
we
I
get
used to do this like a different game where we would cast the game and then afterwards we just tell stories, like nothing to do with the game at all. So
Yeah.
people seem to like it. I don't know. I think you guys would be great for that stuff, but hopefully something in the future. Okay, that is the end of the. Not to cut you off, Pyrion Flax, but I know you have to
No,
go
no.
soon, so we need to wrap this up.
There's
This is
another section to
There's
come. I know.
another section to come.
Yep.
So with that, everybody, community questions. Click on the annotation for the next part, and we'll be right back.